Hey, so welcome to the channel. Today we are going to put some mud flaps on a C8 Z06 Corvette. It's going to protect the sides of your car, it's going to keep debris off of it, and it's going to keep that thing looking brand new and fresh. Alright, so today we are going to install some mud flaps or dirt guards on this Z06, and we're going to install them because the factory ones only stick out about 2 millimeters, and you'll throw all kinds of debris down the side of the car. And then the problem with the rear one is it's got a vent in it that cuts through from the rear fender well, and so what happens is rocks and debris and all that get kicked up and they kind of hang out in this vent area. There's a little lip here. So we kind of have a solution for that. We're gonna install these guards today. I'm gonna show you guys how to install them. All right, so for the front, we're going to replace this piece here. We're gonna install this piece. So it has some of the metal clips like this, which means there's plastic, or there's the fiberglass or the composite, and then there's metal clips inside there just like these. And a lot of times they stay in the car. So we're gonna have to be really careful of that. The bottom of the factory one is held on with a 7 millimeter. So we're gonna remove that. And once that 7 millimeter is removed, you just kind of pull out. You don't wanna pry with anything metal though, because you'll tear up the paintwork. This is your 7 millimeter bolt. I'm just going to kind of push forward very carefully. And you can do this without pulling the wheels off, at least for the front. We're not sure about the back yet. Just like that. And look, all 4 metal clips came out. That is a victory, because that is hard to do. But down in here you have, this is composite. So if you tear that up, you could probably get away with it, but if you break that, it's a pain in the rear end to get it fixed properly by a shop. So keep that in mind. So to install it, there's a hole cut in here for this tab to slide into. This is your factory one. And just for a comparison, this is how far this sticks out. We didn't get a satisfying click out of that like I was expecting, but it is in there, and it sticks out slightly past the beginning of the side splitter. So that's pretty good, and it doesn't look terrible. Let's get a view of it from the front. That's how it looks. So after you have it put in place, you're going to reinstall your 7 millimeter. But you definitely want to do this because it can fall out without it. All right, some of you may be curious why we're actually doing this. And this is why right here. These are pebbles in the side scoops, which is crazy. But there's a bunch down in there. You can see them. All right, so for the rear, you actually have to lift it up. We have to remove the wheel and tire. So I have a whole video on the jack points on the C8 Stingray. It's exactly the same on the Z06. So you're gonna need a set of these jack pucks. I will link in the top right corner of the video. I will link a link to that video of where to get these, how to install them, kind of thing. These are pretty cheap. You can get them from Paragon, you can get them from Amazon, you can get them wherever you want. Just make sure they're solid metal. If you get plastic ones, throw them out. The taller rubber ones that you can get through GM are also quality. Just avoid the plastic ones, get the metal ones. All right, so I'm going to use the rearmost jacking point. I'm going to use the jack puck that I've already installed on the car. So I'm going to slide a jack underneath there, and I'm going to lift up from this point right here. Okay, and once you have it completely off the ground, it's always best to throw a jack stand underneath the car for safety. All right, so for removing the wheel, it's going to be a 22mm socket. Now I have these special sockets for expensive wheels like this, and they have this silicone/nylon sheath around here, so if for some reason it somehow touches the wheel, it will not damage it. So just like that, you're going to put it on. If you're going to use an impact, use an impact. Just make sure when you put this back together that you use a torque wrench. Now, it's really important, especially if you have the ceramic brakes, to hold onto the wheel. When you remove it, make sure you pull straight out off the studs and you don't let it fall and hit the rotor. All right, so once you're in there, you're going to remove these two T15mm bolts, and there's one on the bottom underneath right here that we're going to remove to get that rear one off. This is a 7mm bolt down here. Whew, so much gravel down in here. Oh, that's surprising how much. But I will say there is a little drain here for water and debris. And let me show that to you. So GM thought that through. Debris and stuff that gets up here, it actually comes through. There's a little cutout right here, and it falls out here. So that's kind of interesting to see on the Z06. All right, so something I want to experiment with is the rear fender well vents or brake vents, whatever you want to call them on the Z06. They're wide open back here, which is awesome for airflow, but a lot of people are kicking rocks and crap out the back. So what I did is I took some of this black mesh and I trimmed out the edges and I folded it over itself. I molded it to the back side of this, and because there's a little groove for all of this to fit into, it should hold it in place. So you don't have to do this. This is just something I'm doing on this car because this car lives in Colorado where there's tons of road debris. So with that said, we're gonna reinstall our bolts, and that's going to be the T15s up top and our 7mm down bottom. But here's what the mesh looks like in there. And I'll show you from the back too. This is the back. So that's what that looks like. It actually looks really clean. This mesh is powder coated gloss black, so it's not gonna stick out too much. It's gonna look OEM. So I think that looks great, actually. Once you install it, you're going to throw your wheel and tire back on, and you're gonna do the other side. Just to show you how wide this is. This is crazy. And you always hand start lug nuts. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a 1975 square body pickup. Always hand start your lug nuts. And you're gonna torque, you're gonna set your torque wrench at 100 foot-pounds. You're gonna rotate in a star pattern. Hey, so thanks for watching the video today. I will link a set of these down in the description of the video. A bunch of different people make them, so it's kind of up to you which ones you want to install. The mesh stuff that we put in the rear one, that's totally optional. I will put a link to that stuff in the bottom too. Some of you guys might say, you know, it's just gonna catch leaves and rocks and debris and stuff, and it might, but you know, it looks good and it's hopefully gonna protect that rear bumper a little bit. But subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and hey, thanks for watching today.